All right, guys, it's the last day of the year, the last day of 2018, December 31st. And I was trying to think of something to do for this channel that was a good review of the year. I would have liked to do maybe an economic review because it's been a really interesting year. The first time the stock market had a down year in quite a while. It's been an interesting quarter economically in Canada and the United States, but I didn't quite have the time to put together a video on an economic end of the year video with all the family and social events that I've been going to in the last week or so. I hope you're all having a great Christmas and have some exciting plans for tonight as New Year's Eve. And I thought I'd just do a quick video on what I thought were the best and the worst videos or movies of 2018. I didn't see that many. I got this channel started pretty late in the year, and hopefully next year this is maybe a bit more meaningful and I'll have a bit more or a few more movies to refer to. I think of the movies I saw and reviewed, unquestionably, actually, my favorite one was Bad Times at the El Royale. It was a creative and original movie, very well shot, very well acted, and it had a story that was really, I would say really interesting. It was different than the standard fare of all the superhero movies that we're all enjoying or being subjected to, depending on your opinion of them. For the last few years that have really dominated Hollywood or dominated the box office, Bad Times at the El Royale was something completely different. Just a really unexpected story, an odd story that was told very well with nice dialogue and good timing. As I said, very well shot and quite nearly a perfect movie in terms of not breaking the viewer or not breaking me out of out of being caught up in the moment and caught up, or my belief being casually suspended. And now, I think the best movie of 2018 that I watched before I started reviewing them, in terms of my enjoyment level of it, might have been Avengers Infinity War. And I'm a bit embarrassed to say that. I wanted to just talk about the El Royale, but really, I really enjoyed that Infinity War Avengers movie. I realize I am a bit of a fanboy for Marvel, which doesn't mean I like all of the Marvel movies. I certainly don't. I'm about 50-50 actually. I think some of them really succeed and some of them I think don't at all and I don't find enjoyable. So I was actually, there's been times when I've been really quite tired of the superhero genre and really ready for it to be done with, and over with. But I think they came back and really succeeded with Avengers Infinity War. The character, they've developed interesting and funny and personable characters. I think you have to admit that, whether you like the series or not. The Guardians of the Galaxy characters are really charismatic. It's hard not to laugh at them and enjoy their antics. Even Tony Stark and Captain America and Thor, these characters that could so easily be just two-dimensional trite tropes, I think you have to admit they do, for what they're working with there, they do manage to add, humor is where they go with that. And unlike a lot of other movies that try to emulate that now, it does seem like the comedy and the humor works in those movies with those characters. Like, it seems like they developed their characters enough in the story that them being funny to watch it makes sense to their characters. It doesn't feel like, it doesn't take you out of the universe or the situation that the film or the moment is in. And I think they took a lot of risks for a massive Hollywood movie as well. I don't want to do any spoilers, although you should have seen it by now. They took a lot of risks. People lost things. Important characters lost important things in that movie, and made important mistakes, and I like to see that, in a big Hollywood film. And as I said before, I am a fanboy. I grew up watching Marvel, not so much the Avengers, more X-Men, but certainly I love the superhero thing. I spent my childhood growing up, imagining myself as Wolverine, mostly, and Batman. So I just really get off watching it done competently and well, done well on the big screen with good effects and good artistry and good cinematography, good acting and good writing. So as much as I'm a bit embarrassed by it, I think if I'm really honest, the film I enjoyed most in 2018 was Avengers Infinity War. Even if I leave my best movie of the year title to Bad Times at the El Royale. I also wanted to do the worst movie of 2018 just for fun, and I think the worst movie I saw that came out this year was definitely Hunter Killer. If you watched my review on that, you know I absolutely hated it. It was a movie that was so... I can't say trite again. I already said trite. It was very formulaic. The writing was uninspired and lazy. None of the scenes gave you any understanding, any genuine understanding about the situations that the characters were in. It felt very much like a poor sketch of each scenario. This submarine action political adventure that was so lazy. It was just about, I want to say even, if it was about killing things, I think I could have enjoyed it more if someone had taken some pleasure in violence. I know that's a dark thing, but at least I could have respected someone's craft in that. There was almost no craft in that movie at all, and that's saying a lot for a movie that spends millions of dollars. Even a low budget film spends millions of dollars to go out there, find somebody with some craft who's going to take some pleasure in some part of the movie. This was just I don't even know what it was, what it wanted to be. I guess it wanted to be like an inspiring action movie, but the characters were so thin and so predictable and uninteresting, saying things that just were really unbelievable and not genuine or interesting. Going through, actually, the story I think could have been kind of cool if done with a bit more care. A potential political standoff with Russia, after a coup by a bellicose general. There's some potential there, actually, that part of it, but that was just window dressing in the movie. Like, it was just nodded to or gestured at. Like, it just, that part was all like 2 seconds at a time. It's like, oh no, there's a coup that's it. That's all you get. You don't get to learn about the politics of that, and how perhaps this cunning general built his way up through the ranks and used the rules of power in an ingenious way to gain control and become persuasive to those around him before taking control. Maybe we learned something about that. Like, that would be cool. There was none of that. It just all nodded to and gestured to and sketched out very poorly. So that was definitely my least enjoyable movie of 2018. There were a few not so great ones. The Predator, I like it less and less as time goes on, and reflecting on, in comparison, how good the original was and how this was just really, sort of a mediocre movie, but also destroying a genre. But the pardon me, the Predator genre or series rather had already been kicked around a fair bit. So like at that point, who really cares? But on that point, I think the worst movie of 2018 has to go to a movie I didn't see, but I've seen enough trailers and clips and scenes from it, and now reviews. the worst movie of 2018 has got to be Star Wars The Last Jedi. And as I said, I didn't go and see it, so I know this is probably extremely bad form for a movie review, but I know what it's about. I've seen enough scenes on YouTube and on the TV, like commercial. I know what it's about, and it looks so terrible. And I've watched enough reviews, and I feel so sorry for Star Wars fans out there. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I liked the original trilogy. I enjoy watching them. I've watched them a few times. I enjoy watching them. They created some very memorable characters, and they succeeded at creating an enjoyable sci-fi action adventure, which, as it turns out, isn't that easy to do. As we're learning from, whenever they've tried to recreate that, despite having hundreds of millions of dollars, the wealth of a small nation, going towards making them, they fail more than they succeed. And I think even if you're a fanboy, you have to admit that's been the case with even the prequels. If you take out the fanboy enjoyment, which I totally understand as, let's say, a Marvel fanboy, if you take out the fanboy enjoyment of the prequels, I think you have to admit they're pretty mediocre, even like silly, unenjoyable movies with a few cool bits, but they were not too memorable and not really worth watching, really. But now The Last Jedi, I think finally killed Star Wars. It seems to me like they finally killed the unkillable. This is like Nietzsche could be saying, like, God is dead, Star Wars is dead. It's impossible, and you can't kill Star Wars. Star Wars can't be dead. I understand that. It's probably the biggest film series, the most widespread and most widely loved film series ever. You can't kill that. You can't kill that idea. You can't kill an idea. But I think they did. They made a movie so, it wasn't just that the movie was bad. I mean, the movie was bad. The characters were thin. Their motivations made no sense. They were very uninteresting. Their interactions were uninspiring, uninteresting. The situations they were in, were just so cheaply handled. They weren't given the weight of a 3-part story. They were all every scene that could have had some gravity turned out to be a throwaway. There was a horrible use of humor at all of the wrong times, destroying any emotional connection with the film or its characters. So there was all of that would have just made this an ordinarily terrible film, which it plainly was, and that would have been enough to make it the worst movie of the year. But I think there's some argument, and maybe I'm not knowledgeable enough really to make this argument fully, but I want to just put it out there that maybe maybe The Last Jedi is the worst movie ever made, based on how much it has destroyed this franchise. Nothing could kill Star Wars. It's like Jesus Christ. Nothing could kill Star Wars. It doesn't matter how bad Phantom Menace was, or the other movies, whatever they were called, the Jedi's Twinkle thing. I don't know what the hell they were called. It doesn't matter what they were called. You can't kill Star Wars. You can't kill Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Yoda, Han Solo, Boba Fett, Leia, the Ewoks, the AT-VTs, that's not what they're called, but you know what they are. Chewbacca. You can't kill these things. I mean, you give the original trilogy credit, but this movie did, right? I mean, they're dead. I mean, they're not literally dead. Some of them are literally dead. Wow. How, it's I was thinking about this today with with Disney's handling of Star Wars. It's not like they don't understand, business-wise, how to maintain a character, like a marquee character. They've got Mickey Mouse. Like, how would it occur to them, like, hey, you know what? Why don't we make a series? Why don't we make a series, a Mickey Mouse movie or a trilogy, whatever you want to call it? Let's flip and kill Mickey Mouse. No, they're not gonna kill Mickey Mouse. They understand that the people who love Mickey Mouse, they love Mickey Mouse. They will love Mickey Mouse forever. He doesn't die. I mean, like, maybe Mickey Mouse doesn't die. So this Star Wars: The Last Jedi, killing the entire franchise, the entire world that the previous 150 movies, whatever, 6, 7, 8, 9 movies existed in, with their, with the handling of the material, it's baffling. I mean, it's sad. I do genuinely feel bad for real Star Wars fanboys. I didn't care too much about these new. I saw The Force Awakens, and I mean, I appreciated the aesthetic a bit. I thought there was some good work there, like good skill and good craft in emulating the originals. Like, that was neat. But I mean, the story was so bad, like so derivative, right? And there was very few redeeming qualities. I didn't bother really with the other ones, and especially The Force Awakens. I mean, I'm not a fanboy. You can only enjoy new Star Wars as a fanboy. Thankfully for Star Wars, everybody's a fanboy because it was so cool. Now I think they managed to kill it. I think they managed to kill the unkillable. So that's why, this movie, which was so bad, I couldn't even bring myself to go watch it. It's on Netflix now. I'm not even going to watch it for free. I'm not even going to give it 2 hours of my time. It looks so bloody terrible. Every scene looks awful. Terribly acted. The atmosphere is just wrong. It's so fake and so lacking in any substance and so lacking in gravity, meaning, connection to consequences from before or upcoming. So that, I think, I hope you'll forgive me in saying, though I didn't see it, that has got to be the worst movie of 2018. And maybe, just maybe, the worst movie ever made. I hope you all have a fantastic New Year's Eve. A few hours left of 2018. It's kind of like 2017, but completely different. How's that for profound? 2019, I mean, it's not 2020. I only like the years that have cool, catchy sounds to them. 2020, 2000, 2010. I think that's about it. The rest of the years, who cares, right? Like, what a waste of time. Don't waste my time. But that aside, have a great night, and I'll see you in the new year. Hopefully this channel, I can keep working on it and develop into something interesting for you and for me, and I really look forward to that. Have a great evening. Bye, everybody.